Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Thank you for tuning in and please consider subscribing. I have to make a confession. I'm an oversprayer, so today we're gonna be talking about this, about being an oversprayer. What does it mean? What is the magic number of sprays you're supposed to make or you're not supposed to make? Well, all this stuff. Anyway, I'm an oversprayer and I have been an oversprayer for all my life. I like to have a lot of fragrance on myself. I am a mindful oversprayer because I do understand. I realize that in some occasions it's better not to have fragrance at all on myself. Some occasions I prefer to have 1 to 2 sprays, and I'm gonna explain you why and when are those occasions for me. So there are several occasions, well, 2 occasions, where I do not spray a fragrance at all. So first one is when I go to the doctor's office. And it might be like this kind of normal, absolutely routine visit that, for example, I go to my doctor's office and I wanna ask for some blood tests done. It might be whatever, or I'm out of my cream for the psoriasis that I have. So it doesn't have to be attached to a procedure or the medical issue. It can be like a normal routine visit. And I do not put any fragrance at all when I go to my doctor's. Never. And you see, because it's not because, and I do know that it's kind of a thing when you go to the doctor's office, when you go to the hospital, you're not supposed to have any fragrance on you. And in fact, in some hospitals, there's this kind of sign of perfume bottle, and it's like crisscrossed that you're not allowed to use any fragrance. But well, it doesn't usually work like that, because I have smelled with this nose that some of the people that work at the hospital, they do use fragrance. So and then if you think of the like accident, a car accident, a leg is broken and the person is brought to the hospital, and this person has a fragrance. It's not that like they're gonna say that we're not gonna treat you because you have fragrance on yourself. No, it doesn't work like that. So fragrance and hospitals, better not to, but if it happens, it happens. I personally do not put any fragrance on myself when I go to the hospital, because I don't want to create this kind of attachment, the fragrance and a hospital. And even if it's like this innocent routine visit, I do not want that. If I go out, when I go out, I put some sprays on myself. And you see, and this kind of thing is already working for me, because I'm not in a hospital anymore. I'm not at my doctor's office anymore. I'm outside. So I can put the fragrance on myself as much as I want. And another occasion, and it's even more sad than that, it's a funeral. Well, sometimes at some point of our lives we have to attend the funeral, whether we like it or not, but we have to do it, right? For me, having a fragrance on myself during that specific period of the day, it's not a good thing. And I have smelled some ladies and gentlemen, for that matter, that they used to have some fragrance on themselves, and I didn't particularly like this. I do not condone this. I think that, well, for me, it creates this kind of link, this kind of attachment. This fragrance is kind of associated now with this particular set day. So when all the thing is done, we go out and then I can put the fragrance on myself. and then I do not have this attachment anymore. So these are the two occasions that when I do not put the fragrance on myself at all. There is another occasion when I tend to put less fragrance. Like, for example, when I know that I'm going out now and in 1 hour I have a table reservation somewhere and I'm gonna going to eat, and or I'm gonna drink something, cocktails with my friends. So then I put less fragrance on myself, and then I tend to choose the fragrances that are lighter. I might make 15 sprays with that one, but it's not a potent fragrance. I tend to choose something greener, something less sweet, something a little bit aquatic. I can choose this one. This is the Kiwi one and I love this fragrance. So something along that lines. And then when I go out from the place where I dine or I drink, then I put some fragrance on myself if I feel like so. So these are the occasions when I tend to use less fragrance. And in my mind, there's kind of a stigma attached to being an oversprayer, because, and I have felt it on myself as well several of times. Like, some people know that I love fragrance, and when some people see that I put 10 sprays on myself, they like, oh, hold your horses, what are you doing? It's like 10 sprays, it's a lot. And then I see another person who isn't known for the love of fragrances. He is an occasional user of fragrances, he or she. And this person makes like 12 sprays and no one is telling anything to this person because, well, it's fine. So being a lover of fragrances, to love fragrances, for some people it means that you're automatically an oversprayer and you spray a lot. And if I do 2 sprays, for some people it's a lot already. So yeah, and about being an oversprayer, see, for some people 2 sprays are a lot. For some people to overspray is to do 2 sprays, because I know several people who have quite a lot of fragrances but they spray 1 or 2 times because they do not love a lot of fragrance on themselves. And sometimes they make this half spray here or half spray here, and that's enough. For some people, 10 sprays is fine. For some people, overspraying starts from 15, 16, 20 sprays. So it depends on the personal preference of how many sprays you would like to do every time that you go out. And also, for me, the overspraying, and I tend to overspray, but there are some fragrances that I do not overspray at all because they are so potent, and the overspraying for me is attached firmly to what the fragrance is. I can gladly and readily overspray with this one. I might overspray with this one, but I would never overspray with this one. Well, that one doesn't have spray, that's why I'm not gonna overspray it, because it's a double bottle. See, it's a teeny tiny Kenzo Jungle Elephant, but oh my gosh, it's potent, it's spicy, it's pungent, and I would not make even 1 spray. Even 1 spray of this one for me is an overspraying, because you see, these are not the notes that I'm particularly fond of. So overspraying for me is attached to the scent itself. And today I'm gonna share with you some of the fragrances that I tend to overspray and that are safe to overspray. And I'm gonna also tell you why I do not really care about sillage and protection of the fragrance, because, well, being an oversprayer, I don't really care. I don't really care how much time this fragrance stays on me, on myself, because I can always add more, and I don't care. So when I review the fragrance, so many people ask me as to the protection of this fragrance, how well this fragrance stays on my clothes, on my hair. I don't really care, because if you're an oversprayer, you just add more and it's fine. So there are some fragrances that are like oversprayer safe, and let's start with this one. This is the this is actually the fragrance that I got in a little teeny tiny town that is called Grasse in France. And this is the capital of fragrance, the world's capital of fragrance, right? And this is like artisanal fragrance, and this is the blossom, is a cherry blossom fragrance. And this is very light. It's very airy. It's very light. It's very pleasant. And this one, you see, I have used some of this fragrance, right? I have used all this fragrance in probably 3 times, because I put a lot of it. And with this fragrance, it's so totally safe to overspray. It's totally safe to put 20 sprays on your clothes, because it's not gonna stay long. It's gonna stay with you for like 20 minutes, and then it's gonna fade. It's gonna start to fade, and it's gonna keep fading up until you're not gonna be able to feel this fragrance anymore. And that's gonna happen in a short period of time, believe me. So these kind of fragrances are super safe to overspray. And I do realize that this kind of fragrance is kind of difficult to find. Although this lady that has this shop, and she is a perfumer, she does have a web shop, so it's possible to kind of order from her. But in general, this rule goes for all these watered down essences of fruits and flowers. Like, for example, eau de Cologne. Yves Rocher is a master of making these fragrances. They have the whole line of these flowers of, I don't know, cherry blossom, flowers of orange, like the orange flowers, the lemon flowers. They have a lot of them, and they kind of similar in how persistent they are. They're not persistent. So those are the fragrances that are super safe to overspray. So, but apart from that, there is the brand, well, actually 2 brands that they kind of they fall into the same category, right? This is the Atelier Cologne fragrance, and this one is Jo Malone fragrance. These are the 2 fragrances. These are the 2 brands that I do love. I love these fragrances. I love this fragrance, and this is the English pair Freesia. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all times, and this is my most beloved fragrance of that brand. And this Atelier Cologne, I love this brand. It's a shame that they stopped shipping their fragrances to Europe, because I have made a couple of my orders on their website, but now for some reason they do not ship outside France, and I guess outside Arab Emirates. I might be mistaken, but the first one is France and the other one I don't remember. Anyway, and this is the brand that makes beautiful fragrances. They make wonderful compositions. The problem with these compositions and with these fragrances is that they do not last. And they cost a lot, and they do not last. So every single fragrance of that brand that I have, and I don't have a lot, I have, well, 5, 6, well, 5 probably, I have got them on sales, because you see, in my opinion, these fragrances, well, it just doesn't, the value of this fragrance is like, I want to say 130 euros, 140 nowadays. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it is, because the staying power is so is so low, but the fragrance itself is beautiful. So I can freely overspray with this one and with all the other fragrances of Atelier Cologne. And trust me, I have tried a lot. I have tried probably 95% of all the fragrances that they have. And yeah, they are all like oversprayer friendly. The same goes for this one, the one that I have already shown you, Elizabeth Arden, and they have the beautiful, beautiful range of fragrances, and they are different. They're all different. They're all like green tea based. Well, they have the white tea as well, but I'm talking about this one, the green tea. The green tea is the fragrance that I prefer to the white tea. But this one, it has like, I don't know how many of them, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, I don't know, different kinds of this green tea. My favorite is green tea and pear. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and you can definitely overspray with this fragrance because it's overspray friendly, absolutely. And of course, I tend to overspray with these two fragrances. And the reason why I am showing these fragrances to you is that I know that some people would love to add a little bit of fragrance on themselves. Like, they make the usual 2-3 sprays, but at some point they might feel that these 2-3 sprays are not enough anymore, and they want to add a little bit of more, but then they are kind of mindful as to how people will perceive them. Is it a lot? Is it not? So they would kind of want to enter this oversprayer universe with some other fragrance, and these are the fragrances that I consider to be like a good entry point to this overspraying universe. So this is the Acqua di Gio, and this is the older, well, this is the first, it's not the first, it's the second version. This is aquatic, this is beautiful. It has a lot of flowers, it has a lot of fruits, beautiful, wonderful scent. And this is an old classic, and I love it, and I do overspray with these ones. With this, I can do like 20 sprays, and with this I can do like 15, 16 sprays. And believe me, there's no such thing as this kind of stench around me of the fragrance, and people are running around myself, and no, it still feels organic, it still feels beautiful. Another brand that I love, and I love Guerlain, this is my favorite brand, but I absolutely dislike this line of fragrances. And in fact, I only have one of them, and I have a little tiny basil and mandarin. This is the Tutti Kiwi fragrance, and I love it. It's a kiwi fragrance, which we do not find a lot in fragrances, right? The kiwi one. So, but the lasting power, the longevity of this fragrance, it's not good. It is not good. Now they have done this kind of more potent version, and they have this harvest version, but you know, for some reason I don't find them strong enough still. Even with all these reformulations, I don't find that they are much more stronger than this one. And this one, well, the staying power and the protection of this fragrance is quite low. It's kind of the sillage after a couple of hours, it's not noticeable. So that's why I tend to overspray this fragrance, because you see, when I have a fragrance and when I love this fragrance, I want to be seen, I want to be smelled. And I do understand that some people might think that, well, you're not mindful, it's not good, you're not supposed to do that. I'm sorry, I have to sip my water. So it's not you are not mindful, you do not care about the people around you. But it is not true, because so many times I have found myself in the situation when the people around me, they didn't mind about myself at all. They didn't mind that, well, they haven't showered in days and I have to smell them. So this is kind of another thing that I get this a lot, this question a lot. And especially, well, try to go on like public transportation in summer. I guarantee you will find someone, your nose will find someone that smells not in a pleasant way, right? And we are human beings, we all smell. But we are human beings, we all smell, and we have to be mindful of that. So we have to take a shower, we have to use a deodorant, we have to use some fragrance on ourselves, right? So when I get this kind of comment that, well, you make Essie Press, and Essie Press, I repeat, is my kind of standard point. Essie Press. Essie Press is a lot. Oh my gosh, it's a lot. And it's not about Essie Press for me. It's about sometimes I can feel a person that is like going like, and I can feel that this person haven't been in a shower for days. So why would I need to smell this person? Why this person cannot smell me? I mean, I smell better, right? I'm perfumed. So it's not about who smells better, but it's about the injustice. When I overspray, I'm a bad person, and when this person doesn't shower, he is a person that doesn't shower. He is natural. Come on. No, there's nothing natural about that. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, let's move on. The fragrance that I particularly like, and I tend to overspray this one because unfortunately, even though I kind of like the line and I have 4 fragrances of this line, not all of these fragrances are have good staying power, right? This is Jasmin and this is Maison Lancome, and I go over 10-15 sprays with this one because it stays for kind of 20-30 minutes, and then you feel like it starts fading. And I mean, it's an expensive fragrance, right? It is an expensive fragrance, and it's a shame that I don't feel it after just such a short period of time. So I definitely tend to overspray, and this is the fragrance that is fine to overspray because these notes are not potent, these notes are not powerful, they are not overpowering, they are not very pungent, they are not very intense. Like, I would never overspray a perfume that has, I don't know, musk, myrrh, that has this kind of woody, Palo Santo, this kind of notes, because I know that those fragrances, those notes are too heavy. And if I make 10 sprays, I'm gonna hurt myself. So these are the fragrances, there are the fragrances that are okay to overspray, and those that are definitely not okay to overspray. There's another category that are okay to overspray, but people tend not to do it because, you see, this fragrance is expensive or it is out of production and it's not possible to get it anymore. But I do overspray with this one. And this one, you probably all recognize it. This is the is Dior's Midnigh Poison. It's an amazing fragrance. It has a little bit of rose, it has a lot of patchouli, it's amazing, it's very beautiful. And I do think that it's one of those fragrances, one of the first kind of patchouli fragrances, because before this fragrance, before this patchouli rose fragrance, all the patchouli scents that I smelled, well, they were like predominantly niche ones. And in this kind of designer fragrance world, we didn't really have good patchouli, right? And this is one of the best. This is one of the best patchoulis on the market that was introduced to this kind of mass customer. We didn't go niche to get this beautiful patchouli. It was the fragrance that was readily available in the shop. So I do appreciate the fragrance, I love it, and I tend to overspray it. And I don't care about the price of this fragrance because I love it. I overspray it for my own pleasure. And so this is another one. This is the one that I tend to overspray, and so many people tend to overspray this fragrance as well. And this one is Kenzo Lo by Kenzo Lo. It was known before as Leopard Kenzo, but they kind of changed the name of this fragrance. They kind of changed this the whole smell of this fragrance. It became watered down fragrance. It's not as intense as it was before, but I still do kind of like it. So this is the completely safe fragrance to overspray. And some other fragrances that are nice to overspray, and they are niche and they are expensive, but I still overspray the Fico di Amalfi. And I'm talking about the whole range of Acqua di Parma, this Blue Mediterranean, because, well, the staying power of this one is bad. It is bad. It is what it is. It is bad. But I do overspray and I do love it. I enjoy this fragrance, but I start enjoying it when I feel it on myself, and I started feeling it when I do like 10 plus sprays of this fragrance. The same kind of idea is this. This is the fragrance by Artisan Parfumeur, and this is the Summer Tea, and this is the fragrance that I too overspray. Well, I make kind of 15 sprays of this fragrance, and you see the particularity of this fragrance is that it fades so quickly in summer. Like, for example, in summer, especially when it is like very humid weather, it goes away in a matter of hour. Like, you make 15 sprays and in an hour you don't feel it anymore, and it kind of upsets me, to be honest. And yeah, one other very important thing is that the staying power of the fragrance it depends heavily on our skin. You see, some people say that Montal it has an amazing staying power, and I do, and I'm agreeing with that to some extent. But for example, there's the fragrance that is called Intense Cafe. I guess it's one of the best sellers, and on me in summer, in a humid summer, it doesn't last even an hour. It just vanishes in an hour. Yeah, it happens. So it's kind of this mixture of factors: your skin, the humidity, how your skin reacts to the specific fragrance, and it all contributes to the fact that this fragrance is it has staying power on your specific skin or not. And this is the thing that dictates should you overspray or not. Some other fragrances that I tend to overspray, and I don't feel bad about it. This is an expensive fragrance, and this is Penhaligon's. This is the Impudent cousin Matthew, and I do tend to overspray this one. And you see, it seems like untouched, right? It's because it's the second one. So I do overspray this, and this is a beautiful fragrance. It has a little bit of musk and a lot of citruses, but it vanishes. So that's why I have to overspray this fragrance. Also, I do tend to overspray this one. This is Dolce Gabbana Light Blue, and I love this fragrance. This is the fragrance I have been loving for 20 plus years. It's amazing. It's beautiful. but for some reason the staying power of this fragrance on myself isn't good. I have to really spray hard, and yeah, but I absolutely love this fragrance. And also sometimes I tend to overspray fragrances kind of to recreate some memories. I love this fragrance, and I've already talked about this fragrance. This is Paraiba by Bvlgari, and it's now discontinued scent, but you can still find it. And I tend to overspray this one, and when I overspray this one, this fragrance, it creates this kind of idea of me on a beach with friends, and this kind of beachy summery party with cocktails, like sunset party. Oh, it's good, it's very good, and I do love to go heavy. I definitely go like heavy-handed with this one. And some other fragrances that I tend to overspray is this one. This is an amazing fragrance. It's beautiful. This is Shiseido. And this is Ginza. Very beautiful, floral, very light floral, persistent, but very light. And I kind of go heavily with this one because it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's very nice, and I love it. And some of other fragrances that I kind of tend to go overboard with this one is the Guava. It's the Guava Goddess by Donna Karan. And this is the limited edition. This is the most amazing guava. It's beautiful, it's juicy, it's like mouth-wateringly beautiful. It's amazing. It's good. It is good. And I do tend to overspray with this one. And you see, the thing with the overspraying for me is that I have never had any bad or mean comment because as I've told you, I'm mindful of spraying. I know when enough is enough. For some people that do not know it, they might underspray or overspray, but it takes time to kind of understand the dosage. The thing is that I love when people can smell me. I do not buy fragrances for people. I buy fragrances for myself. I like to smell myself, but I don't mind when people smell me. So I have never understood, and I will never understand when people say that, well, I've got this fragrance and I put just a little spray here because I don't want to be invasive. It's like people can't even smell you. Come on, you bought this fragrance, you put this kind of one spray every time you go out, you use the whole bottle, and the people didn't even know that you had the fragrance on because it's not enough. It's not a lot. So the point of this whole video is to kind of create a little bit of well, not awareness of course, but to get people to kind of soften a little bit towards the oversprayers, because we don't do anything bad, and the most of us, the majority of us, are very mindful about spraying fragrances, and I just wanted to let you know that there are fragrances that are very safe to overspray. It's not gonna knock you down, knock you out, whatever. They're not gonna do that to you. Some fragrances will definitely do, but you kind of, you have to understand it yourself, right? You have the nose, so you are able to distinguish the two fragrances. At the end of this video, I just wanted to show you, and I just wanted to share with you my techniques of applying the fragrance, or where I apply the fragrance. So when I apply my fragrance, I apply it mainly to this part of my body. So it's the head, I just the neck, and a little bit of chest. the fragrance can get on my hair. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that. I mean, people say that the fragrance over dries our hair. I do understand that, but come on, people, I wash my hair every single day, and you know, it's fine. It's still attached to my head, so a little bit of fragrance will not make a big deal. So that's how I do, and I'm gonna just use this fragrance, and this is my normal routine. So I go like that. This is the normal routine for this part of my body. Then I might go here and here. So I put a spray or two, sometimes three. I put one here, I put two here, I put one here, and I'm done. But I'm done when this is the fragrance that is not, that is that projects and that has kind of a normal staying power. But when it's about this fragrance, or it's about Where Are You, this fragrance, they don't have enough staying power to my liking. I tend to go a little bit more over. So I might put a little bit of here and a little bit on my chest. So I don't know if you have counted how many of them, like 20 sprays, and I guarantee you that I have a little bit of smell on myself, but it's not suffocating. I'm not suffocating myself. I wouldn't do that to myself. So yeah, this is my spraying routine, and I do enjoy it. I do love it, and people love it. People that smell me, they love it. And I do care. You see, I care about people when they kind of, if I know that this person is particularly sensitive to the fragrance, and I know that I'm going to be meeting this fragrance, I care about this person. I will not put heavy fragrance on myself, or I will diminish the amount of sprays I do. But at the end of the day, I put the fragrance for myself. And I do hope that my message is clear, that I put the fragrance for myself. I love the fragrance, and I am mindful, but to some extent. Because when I'm not offending anyone with my fragrance, the fragrance is for me. So that's why I tend to overspray. So I mean, I guess they can be the end of this video, because that's it. That's how I spray the fragrance. That's how I like to spray the fragrance. And yeah, sometimes I do care. I do carry some of the fragrances with me, and I tend to kind of stick to these little bottles. And this is the Origino. This is a very beautiful fragrance. I do tend to overspray this one as well. You see, it has this writing here that is this the extract the parfum, which means that it's kind of heavier fragrance, but I don't particularly feel it like a very heavy scent. It's a little bit of bergamot, it's a lot of juniper, it's very beautiful. It leans a little bit of like more to this masculine side, but I very love this fragrance, and I do overspray with this one. So when I'm going out, I do not carry the fragrances with me. I know that I'm going out, I spray the fragrance on myself, and then I might put another one in my bag. So, and if I want to kind of refresh the fragrance, then I might put another one like on top of the one that I have. But if I have this one, it's highly unlikely that I'm gonna show that I'm gonna just put this one in my bag and I'm gonna go out with this one. No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. In fact, I'm one of these people, strange people, that do not carry fragrances and do not carry makeup in the cosmetic bag. I just have a mirror and maybe a lip gloss. I apply my makeup at home and then I go out, and I do not reapply my makeup when I'm out. I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I would really love to hear your thoughts about overspraying, and how do you like it? Do you like it? Do you overspray? Do you kind of stigmatize the people who do, or you don't care as long as this scent doesn't bother you? I would love to hear your thoughts on the topic, and I wish you a very, very beautiful and very pleasant Sunday. Bye.